Hello, welcome again. This is the second lesson of Homebrew and how we can use Homebrew in order to install the LAMP stack into a Mac system. Okay, let's get started. In our last session, the first one, we installed the Apache server. But one detail in this case, usually when you have Apache installed, you need to not remove, because we can't remove the original Apache installation, but at least we can disable that installation. In order to run that command, we need to execute sudo launch ctl unload, and with this unload parameter we will point to this file, system library launch daemons org apache http list. Running this command with our root password will disable the launching of the file when you start your computer. In my case, I have already done this. That's why we have could not find the specified service, because it's not there anymore. But in your case, you should do this. Anyway, this was just a detail, and now we can go on. Let's install now PHP. Well, in order to install PHP, we need to add some tab to our brew installation. The command is brew tab excelnet homebrew deprecated. Okay, why we are doing this? The thing is that if you want to install the last version of PHP, in this case will be PHP 7.1 through PHP 7.3, you can do this without installing this tab, this additional tool on top of Brew. But if you want to run, or you need to run some applications that has been built with PHP 5.6, for example, then you need to install a deprecated version. Okay, let's do this. We will install, with this command, we will install the excelnet support for deprecated software. Okay, and we have it. It's done. Once it's done, now we can install different versions of PHP. Let's try, for example, brew install PHP 7.3. This is the last version of PHP, and we can install it in Brew. Let's see what happens. At this point, I'm just installing this software because I don't have it. Just like you, I'm going through the same process. And as you can see, this is some time consuming, but anyway, we are working, as I said before, in these lessons we are working in real time. No edition, no error, camouflage or whatever. This is real installing and programming. So we need to wait a little bit more. But the thing here is that if we use the excelnet homebrew deprecated tab, then we can install not only the version for PHP 7.3, we can choose the versions from 5.6 to 7.3. That is the last version at this time right now. So we're installing at this point. We're downloading leave SSH, open LDAP, all the dependencies that we are going to need in order to run PHP 7.3. Okay, we need to wait a little bit more. We are downloading curl 2, that's part of the PHP installation, libtool, that's a standard part of the PHP installation, and let's see what else. Unix ODBC, this is Open Database Connector. Like that, all the components that we need in order to run our PHP installation. Okay, in the meantime, what else can we say about this? One thing that is important, and I will open a new terminal for you to show you is we have a configuration file for our Apache server. In this case, the configuration file, as I will show you now, is this one: user local etc. http v/httpd.conf. If we edit this file, then you will see in your installation, you will see that this line usually says 8080. I changed this because I'm working with this every day, so I changed this to run in the port 80. It's the same thing. You have to do that if right now you have something like that in this line. You have to change that for 80. The same thing happens with the configuration file for the SSL connections. As you can see here, we have that file below HTTPD, the extra HTTPD SSL conf. If we run this a little bit down, you will see here that you have to listen into the port 443. That's the default port for SSL communications. If you don't have this number right now, you need to change that. Beside that, I think that everything is almost the same, but at the end, and maybe in the next video, I will show you how to create this section, this virtual host section. That's the main reason, maybe, of this installation, because with this kind of installation we have absolute control about our certificates. Like you can see here, you can create, I will show you how to create certificates, SSL certificates, how to install those certificates in your SSL system, and you will see here how to create virtual hosts. In our case, for example, we are seeing here all the virtual host definition into the SSL configuration file for Apache. As you can see, it's a pretty big file. We have a lot of configuration for virtual host, different names of virtual host. But as I can show you here, maybe this is just a preview of what we are going to do in the next couple of videos, is how to create a virtual host inside this file. It's quite easy, maybe 10, 15 lines of code. You have to define your server admin, your server name, where is your root document here, the log level of this virtual host, and the idea here is that your host will respond, will answer under this URL address. This will be the address that you have to write into your Chrome or Safari to get into your web development system. Okay, that's mainly the idea. So let's get out from here and see what we have in the installation. Okay, here's the installation. As you can see here, we have a lot of log, but at the end, we know that we have Apache installed. So in the last part, we see that in order to enable this Apache, we need to modify the HTTPD configuration file and restart Apache. That means that we need to add this line into our configuration file. And we need to add this too. This is how to deal with PHP. With these two lines, we are saying that if we have something with PHP, the handler will be HTTPD PHP. Well, finally check directory indexes to include the index PHP, directory index. This is the maybe the third part of this different kind of modifications that we need to do in our HTTP configuration file. So let's start. I will open a new terminal to have this text just as a guide, and let's see what we have to do. Well, first things first, this is the PHP the HTTP configuration file. Okay, where is that file? As I showed you before, I have the text here. Let me just get a paste. We need to edit this file, and we will try to find this line PHP module. Let's see, PHP 7 module. Here it is. If you don't have this line in your file, you have to add the line, copy the line. You can copy the line from here and paste it here. It's exactly the same line. In my case, I have the line because I already did that before. So I need to enable this line and it's done. The other thing that you need to do is to be sure that your Apache will run under this user underscore www and this group underscore www. That's another thing that you need to check. What else? Let's check the file match. I will try to see if I have this. Yes, I already have it. And as you can see here in these lines, I have the file match for PHP. We need to Apache needs to know how to deal with these kind of files. So these three lines are already here. What else? We need to find a line that says directory index. Let's find this in VI. It's easy. We need to find, right now we are checking this line here. We're going to find this line here in our configuration file. Let's do that. Directory index. If you write a slash directory index, you go directly to that part, and here you have directory index. And for next, I will try to find. Yes, it is. There it is. It was here. Directory index means the meaning of this is which file I'm as Apache. Sorry, it is easy. Directory index means which file will be the index file of your server index root. I mean, if you have some directory, which file Apache will open should open inside that directory by default. By default, if you have some code, a bunch of HTTP, HTML files or PHP files, Apache will try to open this file first. If you don't have an index.php file, Apache will try to open index.html. But if you don't have index.html either, Apache will show you the index of that directory. You can modify that, but anyway, that's the order in this case. That's why we need to define directory index as index.php first, and after that index.html. Okay, we have that. Perfect. What else we need to do? We have this file covered. We go out from BI. I'm using BI to edit all my information. You can use your own text editor. This is not a course about BI. I'm not saying how to use BI, but anyway, you can use BI if you want to. If you don't want to, you can use whatever you want. Okay, next thing. The PHP and PHP FPM init file can be found in this directory. Okay, that's true. If we go to this directory, we will move there and we will see what we have. And that's true. We have here the php.ini file, and sometimes we need to modify some parameter inside PHP, and here it is. So this I will save this path just for reference in another place. Maybe we will need this kind of modification after. And what else? The last thing that we need to do is restart our start by first time our PHP system. Okay, let's do that. This will be brew services start PHP. Okay, let's see. Okay, started. And as you know already, we can check how our services are doing. Brew services list. And we need to wait a while, and here it is. We have HTTPD started in green, that means that it's really running, and we have already PHP, and PHP is running too. It's a service that has been started already using Brew. Okay, now in order to reread the configuration of Apache, we need to restart our server. Okay, let's do that. Services. Well, these options. Sorry, this brew here first. Brew services. Stop. We have a problem here with the P. No problem. Let's see what happens. Now, brew services stop HTTPD. Okay. Our server is not running anymore. And now I will restart the server. You can run restart too, but I'm doing this just in order to use commands that you already know. Okay, and the last one will be list, services list, and this should be in green if everything it's not in green. Interesting. Why it's not running in green? That's good because we know how to debug installations already. And to debug this specific installation, we need to run a command. I will stop our services, stop HTTPD. Now check the list, should be stopped, perfect. And now we can run the starting of the command to start our HTTP daemon server, but checking the log. We can do this with this command here, bash user bin apache ctl -k start. And now we will see that we have an error here. Okay, perfect. The error is that we have the version 7.2 and we installed the version 7.3, as you can see here. This is the line that we need to use. So let's do that again. Our configuration is in vi user local, etc. HTTPD. After that will be inside httpd.conf. That's it, and approximately in the line 183 we have this. I will just insert a comment here and I will paste the line that we want to use instead of that. Okay, let's do this again. Let's rerun, and now as you can see here we are running without errors. Okay, I will stop it. Oops, I will stop this. Perfect. And now we can rerun our brew command, brew services start HTTPD. Okay, successfully started, and let's check the list of services. If it's running in green, it's okay. Okay, it's in green, it's okay. And at this point we have Apache version 2.4 installed with PHP 7.3. How can we be sure that we are really running PHP? Let's go to user local, I think it's var www, yeah, that's the directory, and here we have this file index.php. Let's check out what we have here right now. Not so sure. Perfect. This file is good. We have this PHP file. So if we go to our local host, let's see here, for example, localhost. Strange. According to this, we should have. We are getting comparator, Tetris, and Vue, and that should be something. Let me show you here. Which one are we looking at? Vue, we're looking at one of those directories that I have already configured. It's not this one. I think it's this one. Let's see. Yes, it's this one. By default, my system is redirecting all the communications for this file to this virtual host. This is my virtual host, my default virtual host. So if I want to, in my case, if I want to check if my system is running properly, I need to copy this file into this directory. Let's see what happens here. And now we have the PHP version 7.3 running properly. Let's see if we have support for MySQL here, because that's our next step here will be to install MySQL. We have some kind of support for MySQL. This is the support that we have, and this will be our next installation, MySQL. Well, right now we already know how to install Apache and how to install PHP any version with Apache in Mac. In the next episode, we will see how to install MySQL, and after that, we will check how to create we can do to create a virtual host inside Apache, and how to use gas mask in order to respond to those virtual directories directly from our development environment. Okay, thank you.